Hello. All right, so today I'm going to have my friend Ian, Gym Hippie Fitness, on. I'm really looking forward to this conversation because Ian and I seem to have been on a very similar path, one where we both used to really enjoy the party scene and the electronic music scene, and now so we connected and laughed about that we used to be crazy, crazy at the same time, and now we're just like crazy, crazy. Thank you. Crazy when it comes to being crazy about our health and fitness and inspiring other people to take care of their health and their fitness. So I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I used to be a wild, wild, wild child. And probably 4 years ago, I just within myself kind of started to get tired. Now, I don't know if it's like because I was in my mid 20s, kind of creeping into my later 20s. I'm 31 now. But and I also hit my early 20s, mid 20s pretty hard, right? I'm sure most of us did, especially if you are in the millennial generation. And so, there just came a point, maybe when I was like 25, where I started thinking, wow, I'm getting really tired, like literally tired of keeping up with going out, partying, the drinking, the drugging, the late nights. But also, I was just like mentally getting tired of doing the same things over and over again, right? You kind of like woke up one day and I'm feeling like I am in a groundhog day where it's like, okay, same shit, different day, same people, different day, but we're just doing the same things together. 25. You're 25 now and you got bored of the club scene years ago. Kudos to you. That's amazing. So for myself, when I felt that shift, it was like, okay, what else is there? Because we're in the party scene because we want to be entertained, right? We're bored. It's also what all of our friends are doing. We want to hang out with them. It's fun, right? Like I really, really love to go dancing, and I still love to go dancing, even sober. I just don't do it 3 to 4 nights a week the way that I used to. I might like get it in once a month, every other month, and still dance for like 4 to 5 hours straight because that's just something that I really enjoy doing. But back then I realized, okay, I'm looking for entertainment and I want to be entertained in a different way. What other ways are there to be entertained in the world? And so I kind of started to dive into the health, wellness, personal development space. Hey, Ian. So just request to join the video and then I'll let you in the room. When I did that for myself, I was like, okay, what other ways can I entertain myself and challenge myself too? Because I think that when we challenge ourselves, we entertain ourselves, right? So developing physical practices, working out, running, right? Improving my ability to run, improving my ability to lift weights. Like to me, that was a new way of entertaining myself that didn't involve going out late, staying out late, drinking too much, spending the next day kind of nursing and recuperating from the night before. And so I dove into that. I dove into listening to books, right? Because the people that I was hanging out with in my mid-20s, we were all just repeating the same ideas. That's why we were all doing the same things over and over again. And so I wanted to introduce myself to people. And in this day and age, obviously, we are so blessed and lucky. We have the internet, we have Audible. Audible is like one of my best friends. Hey, Ian, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Good to see
Pretty
you.
good. You too. Just telling people that are tuning in and watching how we both used to be crazy, crazy, and now we're just like health nuts.
I'm telling you, I've mentioned this to you before. Like, I definitely feel that on another level.
Oh
I've
yeah.
especially with like growing up in New York City. I was born in Oakland, California, and grew up in New York City, and just like the life that comes with that is on another level, so to
Oh
speak.
yeah.
But but
That city life is fast paced.
yeah, it's really the city that never sleeps, and really just that constant churning of the wheel really kind of drains you down a little bit. especially if you don't have
What
a
was
good trajectory of where your mindset is geared towards. But
what was your kind of like pivot point? What was the straw that was like, okay, let me see if there's something different than what I've been doing, different than what I've been shown is the normal thing to do or the cool thing to do, and let me create my new, because I see it in you, right? You've got the gym hippie fitness thing going. It's like
yeah.
we can make being healthy cool again, but what was that for you that kind of turned that around?
Geez, that's a great question. A huge part of it for me was after college. So I went to college in Pennsylvania, and after graduating, I moved back to New York City and started doing real estate for 2 years. And real estate was great. You, it was awesome. The money was good. It's just the type of lifestyle I was leading. The type of lifestyle I was leading out there was not uh, conducive to long-lasting good mental health, I'd say. And
Mm-hmm.
there were a lot of
Mm-hmm.
aspects for me that really stood out, just coming from an athletic background. Like
Mm-hmm.
I played college football for 2 years up at Utica College, and uh, just that huge athletic background with me, and then transitioning to the field of real estate. I mean, not the most physically intensive. Granted, you're walking around a lot with clients, but I definitely noticed just my mind state, my body really starting to deteriorate. And of course, it was just like a lack of focus in that area, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When what really started to make that turn for me was when I would be sitting in the office putting up listings and whatnot, and I couldn't stop thinking of my workout later, or I couldn't stop thinking about how tight my hips were. I couldn't stop thinking, like,
Uh-huh.
it was a constant thing. And then I had a lot of buddies of mine just like contact me or talk to me in person about just like what they can do on their own end to kind of like fill in those gaps. Just because everyone's
Mm-hmm.
kind of going through the same thing in the city. It's busy. You wake up, you get right to it, and you kind of keep keep running until the
Mm-hmm.
sun goes down, and then some
Mm-hmm.
more. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just really a lot of introspection that led towards certain decisions that had me just really geared towards health and fitness again,
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to re-achieve that. It's an unreal feeling. I mean, anyone, even yourself. And I heard you mention slightly in terms of just like getting back, like getting into running and just the consistency of that. Like, uh,
Mm-hmm.
it 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 speaks for itself really when you're consistent with it, and you just
Oh.
feel that difference in vibration. You really do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think like our mental and I tell people this all the time, our mental and physical bodies are like infinitely connected. And so when we
Hmm.
build um, build confidence in ourselves physically, the same thing is happening mentally, right? Like I took up jujitsu three months ago, and I'd never done any type of martial art, and it was
Really
like within
nice.
1 or 2 months, you like gain the skills and then you gain the mental fortitude to like, okay, I could maybe take someone in one-on-one combat, but not just in
Hmm.
one-on-one combat. I was like, okay, well, maybe I could take someone in a debate or, just be able to stand in my values and stand in my beliefs even stronger because now I have this like physical manifestation that supports my kind of like mental kung fu, I think is a good way to
Oh,
put it.
completely. Just cultivating that energy,
Yeah,
just really building up on what's important to you, what you can end up or how, so to speak, how you can end up uh really projecting your will and your mind state and your presence into external reality.
absolutely. Absolutely. I want
Hmm.
to share. I had my kind of like turnaround moment. Of course, we
Yeah.
have a bunch of them, right? Like we have a bunch of little red pills that we take that are like, wait a second, that's fucked up. Okay, let me
Yeah.
look further into that. Like, why is the world like that? Okay, wait. Why do we all work 9 to 5s? Like, why do kids have to sit at school for 8 hours a day so that, you know what I mean? Like, we have all these little pivotal
Hmm.
moments, but one of my biggest ones that I was already like on my journey of developing myself.
Yeah.
But then when I realized how much we are marketed to,
Oh.
and not just marketed as in like advertisements on TV, but marketed in our greater culture, like the way that television shows are not only casted, but the stories that are in them, right? Like what is
Hmm.
popular, what is considered like sitcom or like good entertainment. And when I realized, when I learned, not when I realized, when I was taught actually, how that affects other, like our subconscious minds into believing that that's normal. That's what we, it's like monkey see, monkey do, right? What we see,
Hmm.
we want to repeat. And if we are being almost brainwashed to believe that like a really sedentary life or an unhappy life is what is
Hmm.
normal in the greater culture, and I know that you would feel me on this because we agree already on so many other things.
Yeah.
Um, but then I was like, okay, if that's the way it works in that direction, I know that we can make it work in the other direction too. And so I need to start
Yep.
showing up and brainwashing people into believing that being healthy is cool, being, somebody that takes care of yourself is cool, somebody that gets a good amount of sleep at night, wakes up
Hmm.
early, and like, fills their own cup before going out into the world. It's like
Yes.
if those marketing things, if they can brainwash you into believing that like subpar happiness is normal and is fine, then I'm like, I can do that too in the other direction.
Oh, 'cause yeah, I agree completely. And one thing I wanted to offshoot off that, but completely relevant with what you just said is the marketing aspect, the how things are projected into people's consciousness in their
Oh yeah.
day-to-day life. Um, I see like a lot of things are perpetuated in the state of amplifying a conflict of interest in one realm or another, as well as just really playing off of a lot of people's insecurities and fears
Mm,
when it comes to
mm-hmm,
marketing. And
mm-hmm,
really, like I think of marketing uh, as sales, but then even with sales, it's just applying your will, your words, your vibration, your mind state onto someone else that may
mm-hmm,
pick that up and start to acquiesce to that. And you can do that in such really nefarious ways, I feel. Or you can do that in a way that is
mm-hmm,
completely transformative for somebody on a positive trajectory
mm-hmm,
to where they can really change their life.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
one thing that comes to mind is the movie They Live, but that's a whole other story. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It is a classic. Um,
um I'm not sure.
I'll send it to you. You should check it out.
Well, tell us
But
about it, tell us about it.
oh yeah. Well, to sum it up, shoot, what's the wrestler's name? Um, he was a fan. Is that uh Roddy Piper? Uh, I'm getting it wrong somehow. It's basically how society is completely marketed to in a certain aspect, and how this guy finds a pair of shades that completely changes his view of the world for what it is. You looked it up, you found it,
Okay, yeah,
yeah?
yeah. I just Googled it real quick and I haven't watched the movie, but it's been on my like to watch list because I see the
Oh,
memes, right? Of
yep.
him like putting the glasses on and everything says like obey, bye.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
gotta
I
watch that
think I
movie.
see the world. I see the world with those glasses on. That's my normal vision.
Yo, I'm telling you that's how it gets. I feel when you really dive deeper into your own self practices, and inner work,
Mhm.
because you can, and I don't remember who said this quote. It might have been Rumi. Uh, you'll understand the entire universe when you understand yourself, or some iteration of that.
Yeah. As above, so
And
below.
yes, yes, and all those aspects within you, if you really take the time to still yourself, to calm down those mental fluctuations, that monkey mind, that's
Hmm.
another aspect for it. You can really uh, traverse inner worlds. It's a
Hmm.
whole
Hmm.
different uh, area of travel that a lot of people get really wrapped up in their own day-to-day reality, to where they can
Hmm.
never actually dive deep enough to get there.
Yeah.
Or they end up coming into contact with a lot of deep down trauma that's kind of at the overlying surfaces of that inner work,
Hmm.
that they're hesitant to face and don't
Hmm.
exactly want to engage with. But really, it comes down to the path is the way.
Hmm.
Your area of pain, your area of struggle, is a huge highlight to you in terms of where you need to go. What you're afraid of doing, chances are, like, you're gonna face immense pain going through it, but on the other side, you're gonna come out that much stronger. In a more physical aspect of it, I think of working out. It's literally it doesn't make any logical sense almost,
Hmm.
to put yourself through pain, but yet to come out that much better. But I like to think of the analogy as, you can't form a diamond without pressure.
Yes. I wrote a couple notes here because I wanna, you're saying
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much good stuff, like triggering,
Sorry,
like
sorry,
reminding me
sorry. I
of it.
keep rambling. Yeah.
You're good. Sometimes I need to write things down though, because my mind will be like, woo, like on to the next thing.
All good. Yeah.
So I read this book Spark, which I think you would be super into, and it was about how working out actually affects us on like a chemical level in the brain. And so
Mm.
when you exercise, your body creates the certain hormone that then is able to like envelop the new neural pathways that you're creating. And so
Ooh.
like you know how they say like when you're trying to form a new habit, the first time you take a new path, it's like you're walking through a tall grass, right? And
Mm.
so you have to repeat that habit in order to trample that grass down so that you're creating a path that then is a lot easier to walk down in the future. And when we
Ooh. Yeah.
exercise, our body literally creates something that acts like a weed whacker. Okay.
Uh,
And so we're able to like um learn new things quicker and create new thoughts, create new ways of thinking quicker because we've primed our bodies. And it's like, you'd love this book, dude, especially because you're
ooh.
like, a fitness guy. You'd really love it.
Yeah, I would love that. Please send it.
I'm going to send that to you. And then something else that you said earlier, it's like that trauma that we have inside, I think is the trauma that exists in the world, right? And
Mm.
when we're seeing something in the world that's unresolved, like something I always think about is, polluting the environment. And it's like,
Mm.
if you talk to 100 people, 99% of the people, Stephanie, that book is called Spark. I'll send it to you too, girl. Um, you talk to 100, 99 of those people are going to say, oh yeah, I love the environment. I don't want to trash the environment. But what's happening in the world is a reflection of what we're doing inside of ourselves, right? Is your environment as clean as you can make it? Are you contributing your life energy to purchasing the cleanest products, like not investing in fast fashion, not investing in inorganic food, as much as possible, because if it's like it's just a reflection. What's happening inside of us is a reflection of what's happening outside of us. If we're mad at our politicians for not standing up for us, right? We're actually really mad at ourselves for not standing up for ourselves and holding other people accountable to what their jobs are. And it's a reflection, right? As above, so
Mm-hmm.
below, as within, so
Mm-hmm.
without.
Yep.
Um,
I agree
and
completely.
then
Yeah.
I made another point, but I forgot how it tied
Yeah.
in. I just wanted to talk more about the mind body connection, and then we'll just keep
Mm,
going from there. But it's like the work that I do with people is mental, right?
yeah.
But I implement a nutrition program and then a really easy to achieve physical program, depending on where they are at in their fitness. And it's
Hmm.
because, as above, so below. If you can't clean up this mental space, you can't make this mental space stronger if you're not making the physical space cleaner and stronger. And
Completely.
so, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like in yogic terms, you have your different koshas, you have
Mm-hmm.
your different energy bodies, um, and the physical one is really like the buildup of what we ingest, our environment. I made a post yesterday just explaining how we're not organisms in an environment, we're environed organisms. We're like completely inseparable from what's around us, and your physical body and your mental at your mental states can change simply based on your surroundings, simply based on how you're thinking, which ends up projecting certain things that end up getting retracted to you as well. And I love that you keep mentioning as above, so below, because that is one of uh, those universal laws that's a part of the Kabbalion. I don't know if you're
Mm-hmm.
familiar with that book. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've read this book many times. I've told a lot of my friends about it. Um, but it is huge, and that alone has definitely made some pretty drastic paradigm shifts within myself as well. Um, and also too, like touching back, like with how you end up implementing those things with your clients, it really like when it comes to all transformations, I feel is that you have to start in the mind. You can't go anywhere, um, or attract anything or become something if you're not already on that same type of vibration or frequency in your mind. And once you tap into that frequency, and granted, it's way easier like said than done, because I
Mm-hmm.
mean a lot of people are, they face different life situations that end up having them think a certain way that ends up building on those potentially negative things. um, I think it's and granted it's almost like super cliche with this, but I think it applies so much with the law of attraction and other aspects of universal laws, is faking it
Mm-hmm.
until you make it. You have to believe so hard in something that's just not there. Like it's not there. But you have to
Mm-hmm.
believe in it so much that you start to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You imagine that end goal state, um, and you almost to the point where like you get goosebumps or you want to tear, like those kind of emotions backed by that
Mm-hmm.
thought. And when you
Mm-hmm.
have that for a prolonged period of time, it really turns into you literally reaching out into the future and pulling your goals to you. You're literally
Mm-hmm.
pulling it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Nikola Tesla mentioned, and I know a lot of people end up loving his quotes and just like the science that he's brought to the world through his own experiments. And granted, I feel like not enough is talked about him, because he understood
Agreed.
some real awesome things. Like, and I
Yeah.
wrote it down too for this, just because I wanted to get it right. But um, really, when it comes down to attracting what you are, and the topic of consistency is when you are
Mm-hmm.
consistent with literally anything, like literally anything that you want to work on. If you're consistent with it, uh, if you're able to hold that vibration, you're able to bring it into your reality pretty much in different words of what I just mentioned. But what Nikola Tesla mentioned was that doubt, changing frequency, and inability to hold thoughts and visions for extended times is what takes us off our path.
Yep. So I call that self-sabotage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, Nikola Tesla definitely not talked about more. He was another one of those red pills in college where I like did did a research paper on some like renewable energy, right? And then I started to learn about him and I was like, wait a second, wait one motherfucking second. Like, what? We could be having just like free 0 point energy, but like JP Morgan was like, but then I won't make any money on my copper lines. It's like, okay, wait a second. Seems like some conflicting
Yep.
interest here. Definitely led me down another rabbit hole. What you said earlier about like faking it till you make it, and how changing, like a thought pattern,
Mm,
that's something I love that idea. And this is like just a visual here. The way that I see it is like our
mhm,
mental and our physical is like like an infinity loop. That's the way that I picture it,
mm.
right? That's the way I picture kind of like personal
Nice.
progress and personal evolution happening too. Because you can start, the
Yeah.
point of creation can be mental, right? Or if you can't get out of a funk, go run, right? Start the physical aspect that then will
Yeah.
trigger the mental change, and it will continue to trigger a physical change, and it's just this like continuous feedback loop of change. And like
I agree.
when I first started my journey, there was a day where I wanted to write down on this piece of paper, I love myself, right? I was like, I'm just going to write this in my
Mm.
journal, like I love myself. And my body was like, no, no, you don't, that's a lie, right? So then I was like, oh man, F me. Okay, I started a practice of faking it till I make it. And I started this morning thing where I'm like, okay, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I just probably sound like a crazy person. I did this by myself, right? Don't do this out. I mean, do this out in the middle of a crowd of people if you want. But I did this by myself in my living room. And I continued that. I introduced a new thought pattern that then began to change my actions. And then my actions began to reflect that I love myself, which then reinforced my belief, wait a second, maybe I do love myself.
Yeah.
And then it is just,
Yeah.
you start to gain momentum and it's like, oh my God. Have you ever seen the documentary Thrive? It's like a plank. I don't know if you know what a plank is.
I have not seen it. I haven't
Okay,
seen it
Thrive
yet.
2. I have the DVD, bro. I will send it to you.
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
but a plank is like the way that they explain it in energy. It's like it's the first stage of creation, or it's like it's the smallest point of existence is a plunk, and it
Ah,
makes that shape. It makes that shape when it's sped up, and it's like if the mental creates the physical, creates the mental, creates the physical, and it's done that forever, and it's going to do it forever.
nice. Yes. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I definitely want to check that out. And that reminds me of like other aspects of like quantum physics, or even when it comes to like quantum entanglement, um, which and I'll diverge for a second. Like I love the fact that a lot of different aspects of science are kind of catching up, or at least like rediscovering a lot of things that have
Mm-hmm.
been mentioned
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of different cultures throughout the world, in ancient
Mm-hmm.
cultures, and in my own experience, diving deeply into a lot of research on my own end of a lot of yogic literature, in terms of just like whatever words you really put out there, like on a quantum level, scientifically backed and all, like you literally affect each and every other particle in the universe, even down to the farthest ends of it. And
Yes.
it's just huge, like for people to start to really speak their truth. I've personally like dealt with this a bit in terms of I guess lack of a better term of just really like imposter syndrome, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and just being able to express myself, like the knowledge that I've built up, and to be able to affect people on a massive scale, and
Mm-hmm.
really, like you said, it's that feedback loop. So you have those thoughts, and granted that like they're not even sometimes they're not even really based in reality. They're just like they're just they're just like what ifs and random
Mm-hmm.
just stuff that's just that you just come up with to almost try to like keep yourself safe, so to speak. But when really you need to just like and like, show that
Man,
S on your chest, and
yeah,
like really like shine and really releasing that throat chakra, really activating that guy right there, especially with some
yeah,
good old mantra and affirmations, just really sends that feedback loop all throughout, especially to the physical body and and the wheels really start turning in the right direction, at least in the
yeah,
direction you focus on for a prolonged period of time.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, Ian, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh,
It's been a pleasure.
absolutely. It was a
Let's do
pleasure.
it again. Let's do it
Yes.
again.
Oh, I would love to. I would definitely love
All
that.
right.
But
Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, man. Everyone that tuned in, thank you. Make sure you follow Ian. Make sure you follow me. And we'll do it again sooner than later. Bye, man.
sounds good. Have a good one.